Welcome back to InfoWars Nightly News. My name is Eric Hughes, and tonight we are at a wonderful freedom event in Rochester, New York at McGinney's, just over the tracks on East River Road. And with us tonight is Adam Kokesh. Adam is here tonight to help give Ron Paul a boost here in Western New York, sometimes referred to as Nazi York. But we have our issues here that we're trying to work out with people like Adam and some other wonderful patriots who've been here tonight. The place was packed. The parking lot's full. There's some great people here. It's a real solid, intelligent crowd. And Adam, could you give us a brief description of what your speech entailed tonight?
Well, they let me rant for an entire hour, so we covered a lot of ground talking about Ron Paul, about Veterans for Ron Paul, why Ron Paul is the choice of the troops, and what we have planned for the march on the RNC in Tampa, and a little bit about what we did for the march in the White House.
Excellent. When is that march in Tampa?
August 27th, with the first day of the Republican National Convention. We're going to be marching, but more importantly, we're going to be there as a continuous presence for the entire convention with signs, lobbying, being, just covering the avenues of approach to the convention center with signs that say another veteran for Ron Paul. But let me just say about this event tonight, I really appreciate events like this because there are too many people who want to make the message of liberty statists are stupid and government is evil and, be afraid. But events like this, we really get to build community and come together where we're celebrating the message of liberty and we're enjoying it. We're enjoying each other's company and making those connections that make us better activists and help us prove the fact that being a libertarian makes life better.
Wonderful point, and I'm glad you brought that up. It was actually not on my questions list. I was going to forget to ask you this, but I have always been skeptical of mixing the fun with the freedom fight because it seems that people end up having a lot of fun and the freedom thing goes bye-bye. But tonight I noticed it was really about both. It was full all-out freedom and it was full all-out fun, and this was a real mature, intelligent way to bring the fun into the freedom.
Well, even if you're focused on something that's very, work-oriented in your activism, I think Ron Paul said it best when he said, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And we need to take the attitude of events like this into our activism when we're reaching out to the sheeple with serious issues. We need to take this attitude that, hey, being a libertarian makes life better. It makes things more fun, and we are enjoying it. If you're engaged in activism and you're doing it because of like a sense of guilt or a sense of obligation as opposed to a choice that you're making about how to spend your time and what kind of world you want to help create for the next generation, you're doing it wrong. If you're not doing it because you enjoy it, because it's satisfying, because it makes your life better, then something's wrong. And we're all motivated by those greater desires and there's those greater motives. But when we have events like this, and you think about all the good people that were engaged in the conversation tonight, and all the people outside of this room that were touched by this event, and all of the great spirit of liberty that is going to be taken home by people who are here tonight, what they're going to, people say, oh, so you're a libertarian, what do you do? Oh, we go to bars, we listen to good bands and fun speeches, we have a good time, and we're a community. And that's if you are trying to get people to join the movement and you're miserable and you're afraid and paranoid all the time, oh yeah, sign up and be a part of this. It's kind of a tough sell.
A smile is more infectious than a frown, that's for sure. Now, you did your service in the military. Can you tell us if you think the people in the military, any comments you want to make, but particularly whether you see people in the service waking up in regards to everything from the NDAA to the Ron Paul situation?
Absolutely, and it's important to remember that the military is the most propagandized population on the planet by far. When I was in Iraq, they wouldn't let us watch TV in the Chow Hall unless it was Fox News or Armed Forces Network. And if you think Fox News is bad for propaganda, the only worse version of it is the Armed Forces Network. So there's that, and there's the the official propaganda messages that go out through the military.
Right.
But if anything, I think there's an increased awareness, and I was really heartened by a conversation I had, and it's anecdotal, just with one Marine Lance Corporal when we had the event, when we marched on the White House, who came to me at the after party. And he said, I work in an intel unit near here at Andrews, and I work with about 500 service members, in that unit, and all of them know who you are, Adam, and most of them agree with Ron Paul as a result. And I was just blown away by that. And I think there's a delayed effect that people are waking up. And it takes a long time, especially when you're in the military, to have the courage to face up to the implications of what you're realizing for your own life, your own duty, and your own situation, the orders that you're carrying out every single day. So I think it's really exciting to see that this wave of veterans coming home as well are coming out of the service with that increased awareness. And when they're coming out, a lot of them are choosing not to re-enlist because of their awareness. And they'll never say anything more about it than that. But already that's really huge. And just the fact that we have the internet, that people are able to get information covertly, that soldiers are able to go to Infowars.com, they're able to watch videos from AdamVersusTheMan.com to see that there are other veterans speaking out about this, speaking to their experiences. I think it's huge. And I really think that I don't want to make predictions as to what the effect is going to be. We had over 300 veterans marching on the White House with Veterans for Ron Paul. And according to the squad leaders that checked the proof of service of everyone in that formation, from that we guessed that there was at least 20% of them active duty. And there were a bunch of active duty that were there that chose not to march because it's kind of a legal gray area, but they could be there as observers and supporters. So I'm really excited to see that, we had the start of a mutiny on our hands there. But like I said, I don't want to make predictions as to how it's going to be manifest, but the fact that you can't stop service members, you can't stop the troops from having access to the internet means that they're able to do this, that when they get that little spidey sense tingling, like, hey, this doesn't really add up, what we're doing here doesn't quite make sense, they're going to get online, they're going to see people like me speaking out, they're going to hear people like Ron Paul, they're going to see people like Alex Jones spreading his message and bringing that awareness to the world. It's undeniable. Like, you can't get away from it anymore. And if anything, when we see Americans burying their heads in the sand because they're just happy little tax cows and they can go about their lives and everything's okay, when you're in the sandbox in the military, it's a lot harder to bury your head in the sand and deny all that when your life is on the line every day. And there's that extra incentive to be paying attention to the politics and the manipulations and the exploitation that is the global war on terror. So I would hope that, if anything, the awareness that we're seeing in the veterans movement for Ron Paul is a mirror of what's happening covertly on active duty right now.
Well, that's wonderful news to all of us. I would like to thank Adam Kokesh from McGinney's in Rochester, New York, for being with us tonight. And from courtroomobservation.com, my name is Eric Hughes.